Good evening, everyone. Just to let you know, I am here this week, so apologies for last week. We will start in about 4 or 5 minutes' time. Everybody's connecting up. I see we've got about 25 households in at the moment, so that's a pretty good start. Make sure you got your pens and paper ready, and we'll make a start just on 7:30. Good to be with you again. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our quiz evening. Good to be with you again, and I do apologise for last week where I had a bit of an emergency on a property that I look after, and spent from lunchtime till very late in the evening dealing with sewage pouring down through ceilings and everything. Not a good day, but it's good to be with you today, and I'm sorry that we missed out last week. We'll give people a couple of minutes to connect. I see people are still connecting now. While we're doing that, I don't know, some of you will have watched our parish news programme earlier this evening. I'm presuming that you all do know about it. At 6 o'clock on a Saturday evening, we have a live sort of 35-minute regional news programme, a bit like BBC Spotlight, but obviously from Wyke Regis and very relevant to Wyke Regis. We had two things in the programme I want to share with you tonight, and if you've got a chance you might want to go back and see the programme. Obviously you can replay the video if you haven't seen it already. If you don't know about it, I mean, it's 6 o'clock on a Saturday and you're most welcome to join us. Two things that we mentioned tonight. One is that we're very conscious that over the summer holiday period there's lots of families in the Wyke Regis area that perhaps this year won't be going away, and will be at home looking to keep children active. And obviously it gets very expensive to take children out to sort of attractions, and some of the attractions aren't open anyway. We're looking to see what we can do in terms of organising some events around the church building, sort of outside, if you like, things like treasure hunts and picture hunts for families over the summer period. If anybody's got any ideas, or anybody wants to get involved in helping to organise that, if they could get in touch with me, that would be appreciated. The idea is to keep them low cost, sort of £5 for a whole family to join in with the treasure hunt, and there's a prize, that sort of thing. Obviously the church is trying to raise a bit of funds because we've really sort of been hit by the coronavirus thing as well, but it's not about making huge amounts of money, it's about making a little bit of money but also doing something for the community in Wyke. So if you've got any ideas on setting up treasure hunts or sort of photograph hunts around the church area, do drop me an email at gary@parishofwykeregis.org.uk, and if you'd like to get involved and help organise that, it would be appreciated. So we're trying to do something maybe once or twice a week over the school holidays to make something locally available for families in Wyke. That's the idea. The other thing is, you've probably all seen these sort of virtual choirs that join up online and get lots of people singing on screen. We're going to try and do one of those. Obviously we've got members of our choir which hopefully will get involved, and some of our usual congregation, but if you live in Wyke and you like a bit of a sing-song, or you play an instrument and you'd like to get involved in producing one of these virtual videos, again, just drop me an email. We're hoping to do that over the next few weeks over the summer period, where we'll pick a piece of music, we'll send it out to people for them to rehearse to, and then we'll record people outside in the church grounds one at a time with an earphone in their ear, so they're all playing and singing at the right sort of time, and then we will try and edit it together. Just for a bit of fun really, and see what we can actually achieve. So if you're interested in either of those things, do drop me an email and we'll be very pleased for any of you to get involved. So we're here ready for our quiz yet again. Week number, lost count, probably 15, 16, maybe more than that, who knows. But we will have a nice quiz and we'll have some fun. Let me get my where's my ruler? I like to have a ruler so I don't lose where I am, but my ruler has gone missing. Oh no, my ruler's gone missing. Somebody pinched my ruler. Alright, well we won't have the ruler then. We'll do it with a piece of paper instead. Okay, so we're back to the usual routine. 3 rounds of 30 questions. I'll read them through a couple of times as I go through. Then I will recap all of the questions through speedily yet again before I read the answers out. I do apologise if the book gets any of the answers wrong. I mean, the book is probably 3 or 4 years old, so sometimes the information's changed. Something's happened since, and therefore the book is out of date. But it's all about fun anyway. We're not paying to join in. We're not winning any prizes, so at the end of the day it's just about testing our knowledge. So hopefully you're all sitting comfortably. Hopefully if you want some peanuts or some crisps, you've got them there. If you want a glass of wine or a gin and tonic, you've got that poured and comfortable. I haven't seen the usual culprits. They usually tell me what wine they're drinking tonight, but maybe they're there and they just haven't put a message up yet. But we've got a good number. We've got 35 households connected in at the moment, so that's really, really good. And so we'll make a start, I think. So I'll read them through twice and then I'll recap and then we'll do the answers. So if we're ready, our first round tonight is, let me check I've got the right one, is books. A round on books. So round 1, 30 questions on books. Charles Dodgson wrote his classic children's story under what name? Charles Dodgson wrote his classic children's story under what name? That's question number 1 this evening. Number 2. Which Frederick wrote The Day of the Jackal? Which Frederick wrote The Day of the Jackal? Okay, that's number 2. Number 3. Fitzwilliam Darcy appears in which novel? Fitzwilliam Darcy appears in which novel? Number 4. Whom did Bertie Wooster have as his man-servant? Whom did Bertie Wooster have as his man-servant? That's number 4. Number 5. Which Irving Welsh novel was about Scottish heroin addicts? Which Irving Welsh novel was about Scottish heroin addicts? Number 6. Which county in England did Laurie Lee come from? Which county in England did Laurie Lee come from? Number 7. Which author wrote the children's classic Swallows and Amazons? Which author wrote the children's classic Swallows and Amazons? Number 8. Which James became Britain's most read vet? Oh, I know that one. Which James became Britain's most read vet? I think that's the second one so far, I know. I'm not very good at books. Number 9. Who created Thomas the Tank Engine? I know that one as well. Who created Thomas the Tank Engine? I read all the really sort of intellectual books, so that's why I know who wrote Thomas the Tank Engine. Who created Thomas the Tank Engine? Number 10. Which French detective was created by Georges Simeon? Which French detective was created by Georges Simeon? Number 11. What was the first name of the girl who went to live at Green Gables? What was the first name of the girl who went to live at Green Gables? Number 12. Who created the Discworld books? Who created the Discworld? That's D-I-S-C World books. Who created the Discworld books? I know the next one as well. This is my specialist subject, the next one. Which Ian created James Bond? The name's Bond. James Bond. So, which Ian created James Bond? I've had this really strange thing all through my working life that every so often I get given a number for something, like a security pass or a staff pass, and the number is always 007 on the end. Really strange how that's cropped up. Number 14. Which creatures are the central characters in Watership Down? Which creatures are the central characters in Watership Down? That's number 14. Number 15. So we're halfway through the first round. How are you doing? I bet you're doing really well tonight, because I think you're all very well read. I think it's just me that reads things like Thomas the Tank Engine, and I'm sure you read all the really sort of important and intellectual books. So, number 15. Who wrote Rebecca? Who wrote Rebecca? I'm just going to check nobody's trying to join our group, because I see I've got a little flagged message up. So that my machine is not playing ball. Okay, we'll try in a minute. So, number 16. What was the name of the boy in the Jungle Book? Now, I know we've got loads of scout leaders and cub leaders online tonight, so you all need to get that one right. All of you scouty and cub people and beavers people. What was the name of the boy in the Jungle Book? No excuses for getting that one wrong. No, my phone is playing up as well. Oh, that's really good, isn't it? I can't check. Alright, number 17. What term is used for writing a novel that will go under somebody else's name? What term is used for writing a novel that will go out under someone else's name? Number 18. Which novelist born in 1886 had the initials H.G.? Which novelist born in 1886 had the initials H.G.? Number 19. What is Joseph Hellier's novel with a number in its catchy title? What is Joseph Hellier's, or Heller's, probably Heller's I think that is, what is Joseph Heller's novel with a number in its catchy title? Number 20. Which children's publisher has a black and red insect as its logo? Which children's publisher has a black and red insect as its logo? Number 21. Who created Inspector Adam Dalgleish? Who created Inspector Adam Dalgleish? Number 22. Which Douglas wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Which Douglas wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Here we go. This one's especially for Brother Alistair. Number 23. Brother Cadfael, or Cadfael I think you call it, Brother Cadfael belonged to which order of monks? Brother Cadfael belonged to which order of monks? Number 24. What sex was Richmal Crompton, author of the William books? What sex was Richmal Crompton, author of the William books? How are you doing tonight? I'm hoping you're all doing pretty well on this round, but we'll see shortly, won't we? Number 25. Which fictional barrister referred to his wife as she who must be obeyed? Which fictional barrister referred to his wife as she who must be obeyed? Number 26. Which country was Stephen King born in? Which country was Stephen King born in? Number 27. Which victor wrote the novel Les Miserables? Or Les Miserables? Which victor wrote the novel Les Miserables or Les Miserables? That was 27. Number 28. Which Tory fundraiser wrote "Not a penny more, not a penny less"? Which Tory fundraiser wrote "Not a penny more, not a penny less"? Number 29. Who wrote Murder on the Orient Express? Who wrote Murder on the Orient Express? That was number 29. And the last question in the first round, number 30. John Grisham's novels centre on which profession? John Grisham's novels centre on which profession? So that's the first round, all read through a couple of times slowly. I'll just give you a second or two to gather your thoughts and to look for which ones you need to catch on the speedy final read through. Maybe you missed a question as we went through, or maybe you weren't sure, or maybe when we read through them again you'll think, no, that's wrong, I need to change that answer. So if you're ready, we will zip through them one more time before we do the answers. So number 1, Charles Dodgson wrote his classic children's story under what name? Number 2, which Frederick wrote The Day of the Jackal? Number 3, Fitzwilliam Darcy appears in which novel? Number 4, whom did Bertie Wooster have as his manservant? Number 5, which Irving Welsh novel was about Scottish heroin addicts? Number 6, which county in England did Laurie Lee come from? Number 7, which author wrote the children's classic Swallows and Amazons? Number 8, which James became Britain's most read vet? Used to like watching the TV programme that was made after that book. Number 9, who created Thomas the Tank Engine? Number 10, which French detective was created by Georges Simeon or Georges Simeon? Number 11, what was the first name of the girl who went to live at Green Gables? Number 12, who created the Discworld books? Number 13, which Ian created James Bond 007? Number 14, which creatures are the central characters in Watership Down? Number 15, who wrote Rebecca? Number 16, what was the name of the boy in The Jungle Book? Number 17, what term is used for writing a novel that will go out under someone else's name? Number 18, which novelist born in 1886 had the initials H.G.? Number 19. What is Joseph Heller's novel with a number in its catchy title? Number 20. Which children's publisher has black and red insect as its logo? Number 21. Who created Inspector Adam Dalgliesh? Number 22. Which Douglas wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Number 23. Brother Cadfael belonged to which order of monks? Number 24. What sex was Rickmal Crompton, author of the William books? Number 25. Which fictional barrister referred to his wife as she who must be obeyed? Number 26. Which country was Stephen King born in? Number 27. Which victor wrote the novel Les Miserables? Les Miserables. And it wasn't Victor Meldrew. Okay, if you're thinking of it, it was Victor Meldrew. Number 28. Which Tory fundraiser wrote Not a Penny More, Not a Penny Less? Number 29. Who wrote Murder on the Orient Express? And finally, last question in round 1. John Grisham's novels centre on which profession? Okay, so that's our first round. If we're ready to mark it, we will go through. Mark your own. Trust yourself. We trust you. And let's see how we do. Now, let's fold my bit of paper down a bit. Okay, Charles Dodgson wrote his classic children's story under what name? Wonder who got that. It's Lewis Carroll. I didn't know that one. So Charles Dodgson wrote his classic children's story under what name? It was Lewis Carroll, number 1. Which Frederick wrote The Day of the Jackal? I did know this one. Frederick Forsyth. Frederick Forsyth. Number 3. Fitzwilliam Darcy appears in which novel? Well, if I said Mr. Darcy, then you might get that it was Pride and Prejudice. Number 4. Whom did Bertie Wooster have as his manservant? It was Jeeves, because it was Jeeves and Wooster, if you remember, wasn't it? Jeeves, number 4. Number 5. Which Irving Welsh novel was about Scottish heroin addicts? It was Train Spotting. Number 5, Train Spotting. Number 6. Which county in England did Laurie Lee come from? It was Gloucestershire. Gloucestershire. Number 7. Which Arthur wrote the children's classic Swallows and Amazons? It was Arthur Rachman. Rachman. Number 8. Which James became Sorry, no, that's the wrong one. Where are we? I've gone wrong here somewhere. Oh no, that's right. I'm on the right one. Which James became Britain's most read vet? It was James Herriot. James Herriot. Remember, he wrote All Creatures Great and Small, didn't he? Number 9. Who created Thomas the Tank Engine? Who knows that one? It was the Reverend Audrey. Reverend Audrey. Number 10. Which French detective was created by Georges Simeon? It was Maigret. Maigret. Right, I've lost my place now. Here we go. Number 11. Number 11. What was the first name of the girl who went to live in Green Gables? It was Anne. Anne. Anne of Green Gables, wasn't it? Number 12. Who created the Discworld books? It was Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett, number 12. Which Ian created James Bond? Number 13. It was Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming. Number 14. Which creatures are the central characters in Watership Down? It's rabbits. Number 14. Rabbits. Number 15. Who wrote Rebecca? Who wrote Rebecca? It was Daphne du Maurier. Also wrote Jamaica Inn, if I remember. Daphne du Maurier, number 15. Number 16. What was the name of the boy in the Jungle Book? It was Mowgli. Mowgli. Number 17. What term is used for writing a novel that will go out under somebody else's name? It is ghosting. Ghosting. How are you doing on these questions? Are you doing okay? Number 18. Which novelist born in 1886 had the initials H.G. Wells? Sorry, H.G. It was H.G. Wells. Sorry, I'm just checking the answer to number 7. That's what I was trying to do. And those of you that said Ransom are right. It is Arthur Ransom. It says Rackham in the book here, R-A-C-K-H-A-M, but it is Arthur Ransom. So if you had Ransom for number 7, you are right for Swallows and Amazons. I thought that was wrong, so I was just typing it in. That's why I was concentrating on while trying to read out the questions. That's why I was a bit half with it. Okay, so H.G. Wells was number 18, so the answer was Wells. Number 19. What is Joseph Heller's novel with a number in its catchy title? It is Catch 22. Catch 22. Number 20. Which children's publisher has a black and red insect as its logo? I'm sure you all got that one, didn't you? Ladybird. All the Ladybird books. Number 21. Who created Inspector Adam Dalgleish? It was P.D. James. P.D. James. Number 22. Which Douglas wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Which Douglas? It was Douglas Adams. Douglas Adams. Number 23. Especially for Brother Alistair. Brother Cadfael belonged to which order of monks? It was Benedictine. Benedictine. Number 24. What sex was Rickmal Crompton, author of the William books? The answer is female. Female. Number 24. Number 25. Which fictional barrister referred to his wife as she who must be obeyed? It was Rumpole. I knew that one. Horace Rumpole, or Rumpole of the Bailey, whichever you want to call it. Horace Rumpole, Rumpole on its own, or Rumpole of the Bailey. We're happy with any of those. Number 26. Which country was Stephen King born in? It was the US, United States. Number 27. Which Victor wrote the novel Les Miserables or Les Miserables? It was Victor Hugo. Hugo, number 27. Number 28. Which Tory fundraiser wrote Not a Penny More, Not a Penny Less? It was Jeffrey Archer. Jeffrey Archer, number 28. Who wrote Murder on the Orient Express? It was Agatha Christie, number 29. Agatha Christie. And finally, number 30. John Grisham's novels centre on which profession? It is the legal profession. The legal profession, number 30. So, how have you done on that one? Just to remind you, question 7, the answer was wrong that I read out. Which author wrote the children's classics, Swallows and Amazons? It should be Arthur Ransom, not Arthur Rachman, which I read out, which is wrong in the book. And just to show you that it is wrong, if you can read it, I've circled it. So it isn't me reading it out wrong. Look, it says Rachman in the book. Yeah, you got that? So, for once, it's not me getting it wrong, it's the book. Okay? So, the book is not always right. 25, 26. Oh, that's good. We're doing well today. Oh, today is the Feast of St. Benedict, is it? Oh, well, that's strange, isn't it? 23, 27, 29. Now, I see Rackman. You can see it again now. I can see it on the screen with the delay. 29, Meredy. Well done, Meredy. 19, Denise. Not bad. Angela, 29. 29. 26, 28. Oh, some good scores here tonight, isn't there? Lisa, 20. Sue, 26. Sheila, 27. Tess, 23. Michael, 26. We've obviously got lots of book readers, haven't we? Evelyn, 13. I think, Evelyn, you spend too much time sewing your socks, you see. That's what it is, socks and scarves. Your lovely socks and scarves. And maybe you should be reading Thomas the Tank more often and things like that. Then you would know the answers. But then we wouldn't have lovely socks to wear and keep us warm in the winter, would we? 25 for the Krays. Who's the Krays? Oh, Kays. I was going to say, I thought the Krays were a couple of criminals that lived in London. Did you mean to say... No, we didn't mean to say that. 28 for K. So you've all done really well. You've all done really, really well, as Mr. Grace would say. So that was a good round, wasn't it? So do we think the next round is going to be as easy? I'm sure it will be. The next round is our potluck round. So it's our potluck round next, which is our mixed round with a mix of questions. And I haven't looked at these questions. I just know we haven't had this round before because I'm ticking them in the book when we've used them. So I know we haven't had this one before. So we've got 30 questions, potluck questions now. So are you ready for the potluck round? Well, we'll begin then. Okay, here we go. Number 1. Which principality lies between France and Spain in the Pyrenees? Which principality lies between France and Spain in the Pyrenees? Oh, here's a funny name coming up. Number 2. Canaan Banana was the first president of which country? Is that a real name? Do you think there was really somebody called Canaan Banana? Well, there you go. Canaan Banana was the first president of which country? Number 3. What was the name of the Queen of the Fairies in A Midsummer Night's Dream? What was the name of the Queen of the Fairies in A Midsummer Night's Dream? Number 4. Who was divorced from Mark Phillips? Who was divorced from Mark Phillips? Number 5. What was the name of the girl who visited the Wizard of Oz? What was the name of the girl who visited the Wizard of Oz? Number 6. Who came directly after Pope John Paul I? Who came directly after Pope John Paul I? Number 7. Who replaced Charlie Sheen as one of the 2.5 Men in 2013? Who replaced Charlie Sheen as one of the 2.5 Men in 2013? Right, number 8. Which EastEnders actress has a daughter named Tallulah Lilac? Which EastEnders actress has a daughter named Tallulah Lilac? Number 9. Which stretch of water separates Alaska from the Russian mainland? Which stretch of water separates Alaska from the Russian mainland? Number 10. What did Sandy Shaw bear in the Eurovision Song Contest? What did Sandy Shaw bear in the Eurovision Song Contest? Number 11. Who was the last chemist to be Prime Minister of Britain? Who was the last chemist to be Prime Minister of Britain? Number 12. In 1979, who sang about walking on the moon? In 1979, who sang about walking on the moon? Number 13. Which Jane married Gerald Scarfe? Which Jane married Gerald Scarfe? Oh, one of these spotlights has gone off. So I've gone into darkness here. Number 14. How many letters are there in the Greek alphabet? How many letters are there in the Greek alphabet? That's number 14. Number 15. Which camels have more humps? Dromedaries or Bactrians? Which camels have more humps? Dromedaries or Bactrians? Number 16. If I Were a Rich Man comes from which stage show? If I Were a Rich Man comes from which stage show? And if you can sing it, you get an extra point. Number 17. Which word follows paper and precedes gammon to make two new words? Which word follows paper and precedes gammon to make two new words? Precedes paper. Don't know. Can't work that one out. Number 18. Who was lead singer with the Boomtown Rats? Who was lead singer with the Boomtown Rats? Number 19. What was the name of Lady Penelope's puppet chauffeur? What was the name of Lady Penelope's puppet chauffeur? Number 20. What was St. Luke's profession? What was St. Luke's profession? And saint is not the answer, okay? Number 21. Which Michael Caine film was about the battle at Rorke's Drift? Which Michael Caine film was about the battle at Rorke's Drift? My name's Michael Caine. Number 22. In mythology, Minerva was the goddess of what? Number 22. In mythology, Minerva was the goddess of what? Number 23. What is exactly 26 miles and 385 yards long? What exactly is 26 miles and 385 yards long? Number 24. If you betray your country, what crime do you commit? If you betray your country, what crime do you commit? Number 25. Which politician was the subject of TV's A Very Social Secretary? Which politician was the subject of TV's A Very Social Secretary? Number 26. What in France is Le Figaro? What in France is Le Figaro? Number 27. The musical Blood Brothers is based in which city? The musical Blood Brothers is based in which city? Number 28. What is the middle name of Cruz Beckham? What is the middle name of Cruz Beckham? Number 29. Who took over as England cricket captain from Graham Gooch? Who took over as England cricket captain from Graham Gooch? And the last one in this round. The Loreley, I think it is Loreley. The Loreley Rock is on which river? The Loreley Rock is on which river? So that's our 30 questions in round 2, our potluck round. I'll just give you time to go down through the page and highlight any you want to look at again, and then I'll zip through them a final time for you. There's a lot of laughing going on downstairs. I don't know if they're laughing at me or laughing at something else. Probably laughing at me. Probably my pronunciation, I expect. Okay, so I'll zip through them again if you're ready. Okay, one quick read through. Number 1. Which principality lies between France and Spain in the Pyrenees? Number 2. Canaan Banana was the first president of which country? Number 3. What was the name of the Queen of Fairies in A Midsummer Night's Dream? Number 4. Who was divorced from Mark Phillips? Number 5. What was the name of the girl who visited the Wizard of Oz? Number 6. Who came directly after Pope John Paul I? Number 7. Who replaced Charlie Sheen as one of the 2.5 Men in 2013? Number 8. Which EastEnders actress has a daughter named Tallulah Lilac? Number 9. Which stretch of water separates Alaska from the Russian mainland? Number 10. What did Sandy Shaw bear in the Eurovision Song Contest? Number 11. Who was the last chemist to be Prime Minister of Britain? Number 12. In 1979, who sang about walking on the moon? Number 13. Which Jane married Gerald Scarfe? Number 14. How many letters are there in the Greek alphabet? Number 15. Which camels have more humps, dromedaries or Bactrians? 16. If I Were a Rich Man comes from which stage show? Number 17. Which word follows paper and precedes gammon to make 2 new words? Number 18. Who was lead singer in the Boomtown Rats? Number 19. What was the name of Lady Penelope's puppet chauffeur? Number 20. What was St. Luke's profession? Number 21. Which Michael Caine film was about the Battle of Rorke's Drift? Number 22. In mythology, Minerva was the goddess of what? Number 23. What is exactly 26 miles and 385 yards long? Number 24. If you betray your country, what crime do you commit? Number 25. Which politician was the subject of TV's A Very Social Secretary? 26. What in France is Le Figaro? 27. The musical Blood Brothers is based in which city? Number 28. What is the middle name of Cruz Beckham? Number 29. Who took over as England cricket captain from Graham Gooch? And finally, number 30, the Loreley Rock is on what or which river? The Loreley Rock is on which river? So that's our second round. I will get ready to read out the answers to round 2. Okay, answers to round 2. I wonder how many of these will be wrong in the book. Let's fold the sheet down a bit. So, here we go. Round 2. Which principality lies between France and Spain in the Pyrenees? It's Andorra. Number 1, Andorra. Number 2, Canaan Banana was the first president of which country? It's Zimbabwe. Number 2, Zimbabwe. Number 3, what is the name of the Queen of Fairies in A Midsummer Night's Dream? It's Titania. Titania. That's number 3. Number 4, who divorced from Mark Phillips? It was Princess Anne. Number 4, Princess Anne. Number 5, what was the name of the girl who visited the Wizard of Oz? Well, of course, we all know that one, don't we? It was Dorothy. Dorothy. Number 6, who came directly after Pope John Paul I? Believe it or not, it was John Paul II. John Paul II. Number 7, who replaced Charlie Sheen as one of the 2.5 Men in 2013? It was Ashton Kutcher. Ashton Kutcher. Number 8, which EastEnders actress has a daughter named Tallulah Lilac? Tallulah Lilac. It's Jessie Wallace. Jessie Wallace. Number 9, which stretch of water separates Alaska from the Russian mainland? It's the Bering Strait. The Bering Strait. Number 10, what did Sandy Shaw bear in the Eurovision Song Contest? Number 10, it was her feet. Her feet. Number 11, who was the last chemist to be Prime Minister of Britain? It was Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher. In 1979, number 12, who sang about Walking on the Moon? It was the Police. The Police, number 12. Number 13, which Jane married Gerald Scarfe? It was Jane Asher. Jane Asher, or Asher for number 13. Number 14, how many letters are there in the Greek alphabet? There are 24. Number 14, 24. Number 15, which camels have more humps, dromedaries or Bactrians? Or Bactrians? 15, it's Bactrian camels have more humps. Number 16, If I Were a Rich Man comes from which stage show? It's Fiddler on the Roof. Fiddler on the Roof, number 16. Number 17, which word follows which word follows paper and precedes gammon to make 2 new words? And it is back. So it is paper back and backgammon. So the answer to number 17 was back. Number 18, who was lead singer with the Boomtown Rats? It was Bob Geldof. Bob Geldof, number 18. Number 19, what was the name of Lady Penelope's puppet chauffeur? Who got this one? I bet you all got this one. Parker. Parker. Number 20, what was St. Luke's profession? Number 20 was a doctor. St. Luke was a doctor. Number 21, which Michael Caine film was about the Battle of Rorke's Drift? Well, one of the biggest and most famous films of all time, isn't it? Zulu. Zulu. Number 22, in mythology, Minerva was the goddess of what? It's the goddess of wisdom. Number 22 is wisdom. Number 23, what is exactly 26 miles and 385 yards long? It is a marathon. A marathon. Number 24, if you betray your country, what crime do you commit? It is treason. Treason, number 24. Number 25, which politician was the subject of TV's A Very Social Secretary? It was David Blunkett. David Blunkett. Number 26. What in France is Le Figaro? Le Figaro. It's a newspaper. Number 26. A newspaper. Number 27. The musical Blood Brothers is based in which city? It is Liverpool. Number 27. Liverpool. Number 28. What is the middle name of Cruz Beckham? The middle name of Cruz Beckham is David. So it's Cruz David Beckham. So David is the middle name. Number 29. Who took over as England's cricket captain from Graham Gooch? It was Mike Atherton. Mike Atherton. Number 29. And finally, number 30. The Loreley Rock is on what in which river? It's the Rhine. The Rhine, number 30. So, how did we do with that round, everybody? Did you do well? Let's just see if we got 29 is 4 answers. How can I have 4 answers? Who took over as England captain from Graham Gooch? Only one person can take over. There might be different people in the same year, I guess, mightn't there? But I guess only one person can take over. I'm not an expert on cricket. I know nothing about cricket at all. So I can't even adjudicate on that one. (16, 17s, 24s, 23s. Oh, we're a bit lower this round, aren't we? We're a little bit lower on this round. Oh, Andrew's done pretty well, and Cassie and Kate. Yvonne, yeah, not bad. Because Gooch stepped down for the odd game. Oh my goodness. It's never straightforward, Rachel, is it? It's never straightforward. Dear oh dear. Right, our final round. I'm just going to, well, you'll just put in the last of your scores up. I'm going to find the final round tonight. The final round. Are we ready for our final round tonight? Our final round tonight is on football. No, it's not. No, I promised you I wouldn't do football, didn't I? It's not on football, honestly. It's on travel and transport. Travel and transport tonight. Round 3. Travel and transport. So, how are we doing? We've just got a few scores coming up. Let's give people a chance to put those up. 18 for the Craze. Right, have we got all the scores up? We have. Right, okay. Round 3 then. Our final round tonight. Travel and transport. Are you ready? Looking down for a full house. No, that's the wrong game, isn't it? Right, number 1. In which decade did the driving test introduce a written section? In which decade did the driving test introduce a written section? Now, I think when I did my driving test, there wasn't a written one. I don't think. Number 2. What is an Eskimo canoe called? What is an Eskimo canoe called? Number 2. Number 3. Which is Germany's main airport? Number 3. Which is Germany's main airport? Number 4. What name is given to a cigar-shaped airship? What name is given to a cigar-shaped, I was going to say guitar-shaped then, a cigar-shaped airship? Number 5. Which musical features a song about a Surrey with a fringe on top? Which musical features a song about a Surrey with a fringe on top? No idea. Number 6. The Montgolfier brothers flew In what type of aircraft? The Montgolfier brothers flew in what type of craft? Number 7. Which motor company made the first production line car? Which motor company made the first production line car? Number 8. What shape is the bottom of a punt? What shape is the bottom of a punt? Number 9. E is the International Vehicle Registration Letter of which country? E is the International Vehicle Registration Letter of which country? That's number 9. Number 10. Whose 60s report axed many railway lines in Britain? I expect most of you know that one. Whose 60s report axed many railway lines in Britain? Very well known name, isn't it? Number 11. Orly Airport is in which city? Orly, O-R-L-Y, Airport is in which city? Number 12. In which country did the Toyota Motor Corporation originate? In which country did the Toyota Motor Corporation originate? Now this one I reckon is going to be wrong in the book. Yes, it is definitely wrong in the book, because we've had this question in a different quiz round and it was wrong in that round too. Eurostar goes from which London station? Eurostar goes from which London station? And the answer in the book is definitely wrong. It was probably right at the time that the book was published, because it has moved. Number 14. In song, My Old Man Said Follow which vehicle? In song, My Old Man Said Follow which vehicle? Number 15. A Chinook is what type of vehicle? Number 15. A Chinook is what type of vehicle? Number 16. What colour is the circle line on a London Underground map? What colour is the circle line on a London Underground map? Number 17. In which century was the Suez Canal opened? What century was the Suez Canal opened? How are you doing so far? Is this a good round for you or not? Number 18. What is the Boeing 747 usually known as? What is the Boeing 747 usually known as? Number 19. What is the International Vehicle Registration Letter of Germany? What is the International Vehicle Registration Letter of Germany? Number 20. The SNFC operates in which country? The SNFC operates in which country? Number 21. What is the usual colour of an aeroplane's black box? What is the usual colour of an aeroplane's black box? Number 22. In the 1820s, who designed the locomotive, the Rocket? In the 1820s, who designed the locomotive, the Rocket? Number 23. Which country does a sampan come from? Which country does a sampan come from? Number 24. In which decade did Concorde enter commercial service? In which decade did Concorde enter commercial service? Number 25. What type of transporter was the ill-fated Herald of Free Enterprise? What type of transporter was the ill-fated Herald of Free Enterprise? 26. The major cargo port of Felixstowe is in which county? The major cargo port of Felixstowe is in which county? Number 27. Which Sir Freddie saw his airline company collapse in 1982? Which Sir Freddie saw his airways company collapse in 1982? Number 28. What type of cars did the DeLorean factory produce? What type of cars did the DeLorean factory produce? Number 29. Which brothers pioneered the first powered flight? Which brothers pioneered the first powered flight? And number 30. S is the International Vehicle Registration Letter for which country? S is the International Vehicle Registration Letter for which country? Okay, I'll just let you see where you are with those, and then we'll read through them for the final time. While you're doing that, let me just mark off the ones we've done tonight. That one and that one. Excellent. Okay, let's zip through them a final time then. Number 1. In which decade did the driving test introduce a written section? Number 2. What is an Eskimo canoe called? Number 3. Which is Germany's main airport? Number 4. What name is given to a cigar-shaped airship? Number 5. Which musical features a song about a Surrey with a fringe on top? Number 6. The Montgolfier brothers flew in what type of craft? Number 7. Which motor company made the first production line car? Number 8. What shape is the bottom of a punt? Number 9. E is the International Vehicle Registration Letter of which country? Number 10. Whose 60s report axed many railway lines in Britain? Number 11. Orly Airport is in which city? Number 12. In which country did the Toyota Motor Corporation originate? Number 13. Eurostar goes from which London station? Number 14. In song, My Old Man Said Follow which vehicle? Number 15. A Chinook is what type of vehicle? Number 16. What colour is the circle line on a London Underground map? Number 17. In which century was the Suez Canal opened? Number 18. What is the Boeing 747 usually known as? Number 19. What is the International Vehicle Registration Letter of Germany? Number 20. The SNFC operates in which country? Number 21. What is the usual colour of an aeroplane's black box? Number 22. In the 1820s, who designed the locomotive, the rocket? Number 23. Which country does a sampan come from? Number 24. In which decade did Concorde enter commercial service? Number 25. What type of transporter was the ill-fated Herald of Free Enterprise? Number 26. The major cargo port of Felixstowe is in which county? Number 27. Which Sir Freddie saw his airline company collapse in 1982? Number 28. What type of cars did the DeLorean factory produce? Number 29. Which brothers pioneered the first powered flight? And finally, number 30. S is the International Vehicle Registration Letter of which company? So we will do the answers to round 3. Our final round tonight. So, are you ready? Number 1. In which decade did the driving test introduce a written section? It was 1990s. 1990s. Number 1. Number 2. What is an Eskimo canoe called? It's called a kayak. Kayak. Number 2. Number 3. Which is Germany's main airport? It is Frankfurt. Frankfurt. Number 3. Number 4. What name is given to a cigar-shaped airship? It's a Zeppelin. Zeppelin. Number 5. Which musical features a song about a Surrey with a fringe on top? It's Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Number 6. The Montgolfier brothers flew in what type of craft? It's hot air balloon. Hot air balloon. Number 6. Number 7. Which motor company made the first production line car? It was Ford. Number 7. Ford. Number 8. What shape is the bottom of a punt? It is flat. It is flat. Number 9. E is the International Vehicle Registration Letter of which country? It is Spain. Number 9. Spain. Number 10. Whose 60s report axed many railway lines in Britain? It was Dr. Beeching. Dr. Beeching. Number 11. Orly Airport is in which city? It's Paris. Number 11. Paris. Number 12. In which country did the Toyota Motor Corporation originate? It originated in Japan. Japan. Number 12. Number 13, the one that is wrong in the book. Eurostar goes from which London station? It says Waterloo. It used to go from Waterloo, and several years ago it moved to St Pancras. St Pancras is the correct answer. Number 14, in song, my old man said follow the van. So the answer to number 14 is the van, or van. Number 15, a Chinook is what type of vehicle? It's a helicopter. It's the helicopter with the 2 rotor blades that makes that really sort of woof, 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 woof noise as it goes across the sky. And we quite often get them flying over us. Number 16, what colour is the circle line on a London Underground map? It is yellow. Yellow. Number 16. Number 17. Denise is laughing downstairs. I think that must be my impression of a Chinook when I went whoop, 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 whoop. I think. Other than that, oh, she's got the telly on and she's laughing at something completely different. Number 17. In which century was the Suez Canal opened? It was the 19th century. Number 18. What is the Boeing 747 usually known as? It is a jumbo jet. Jumbo jet number 18. Number 19. What is the international vehicle registration letter of Germany? It is D for Deutschland. D. Number 20. The SNFC operates in which country? It is France. In fact, I thought it was the SNCF actually, not the SNFC. So that might be wrong in the book, or I might have remembered it wrong. But number 20 is France. Number 21. What is the usual colour of the aeroplane's black box? It is orange. Orange. So it can be found easily. Number 22. In the 1820s, who designed the locomotive, the rocket? It was George Stephenson. George Stephenson, number 22. Number 23. Which country does a sampan come from? It's from China. Number 23 is China. Number 24. In which decade did Concorde enter commercial service? It was the 1970s. 1970s for number 24. Number 25. What type of transporter was the ill-fated Herald of Free Enterprise? It was a ferry. It was a ferry, and that's the one where they didn't shut the doors properly on the car deck, wasn't it? Yeah, I thought it was SNCF, not SNFC. I thought it was, yeah. I thought that when I read it through. I think we'll put a complaint in about this book, because we get at least one question wrong each week, don't we? We've had about 3 wrong today, I think. Number 26. The major cargo port of Felixstowe is in which county? Number 26 is Suffolk. Suffolk. You're probably going to tell me that's wrong as well. I don't actually know where Felixstowe is. Number 27. Which Sir Freddie saw his airways complete... Which Sir Freddie saw his airways company collapse in 1982? It was Sir Freddie Laker. It was Laker Airlines, wasn't it? Number 28. What type of cars did the DeLorean factory produce? It was sports cars. It's the ones they use in Back to the Future. And the other thing that was very special about them is they were made of stainless steel, so they weren't painted. It's one car I'd really like to have had, the DeLorean. They've got those wing doors that sort of open up, and they were made of stainless steel, and they don't rust. But I think they went bust. They borrowed a lot of money from the government, and then something funny happened, and then they sort of closed down and went bust. So, yeah, they didn't last long at all. Number 29. Which brothers pioneered the first powered flight? It was the Wright brothers. The Wright brothers. And 30. S is the international vehicle registration letter of which country? It is Sweden. Sweden. So that is all our answers for tonight. How did you do in the last round this evening? Did you do well? Or was it really, really bad? Or was it mediocre? Were they good questions for you or not? That is the question. Les did 28. Well, there were good questions for Les by the looks of it. Les did really well there. Well done, Les. 21 for Gillian. 28 for Jenny. Jenny did well. Didn't they do well? 25 for the Crays. 27 for Cassie. 28 for Angela. 25 for Sue. Denise, 23. Goodness, that's good. 28 for Meredy. 28 for Andrew. 29 for the Gills. Oh, the Gills are here. I didn't know you were here, Michael. I didn't see you earlier. 26 for Angela. Rachel, 78 and 90 overall. 28 for the McDonalds. Doug, 24. Sheila, 26. Kate Davis, Richard Franklin, 30. Michael Dilston, 24. Angela Pierce, thank you again, Gary. Thank you, Angela, for coming along. Lisa, 21. Yvonne, 26. Société Nationale de Chemin de France. Yeah, whatever that means. 77 out of 90. Well done, Cassie. 27 for John. Well, you all did really, really well on that last round, didn't you? Really did very, very well. So, thank you for coming along this evening. It's 8:45. It's actually It's looking a bit darker out there tonight. The sun seems to have gone down. It's been a nice day. Hopefully we'll get a nice day tomorrow. Spend some time outside, getting some fresh air in the garden. Oh, the wine's all gone. I see. Is that why you're keeping a low profile? The Gills have drunk their house dry. The wine cellar is empty. Thank you all for coming along. Hope you had a good evening. We'll be back here again next week at 7:30, the same time, same place, for another round of quizzes. Who knows, we might have a picture round next week as well, if I get a bit of time. But we might not do. I'll keep you guessing. But we're sure to have some questions from the book where the answers are wrong. So keep on your toes and point them out if they're wrong. Don't forget we've got our service tomorrow morning at 9:30 on YouTube, Facebook group, on the parish website if you want to join us. And we now have got a communion in church at 11 o'clock tomorrow and 10:30 on Wednesday. And the 10:30 one on Wednesday is this week specifically for those over 70 years of age and those who are shielded patients. And we are asking that other people stay away so that those who are in the high risk group can all stick together in their little bubble, because that's the word we're supposed to use these days. We're supposed to keep in our bubbles. Okay, so this week 10:30 Wednesday for those in the shielded and 70s bubble. 11 o'clock tomorrow in All Saints if you want to pop along for communion. It's a short said service. The main service is still the 9:30 live stream service where we've got music and singing. Unfortunately, it's going to be some time before we can have music and singing in the church itself. So thanks for coming along, and I'll say good night to you all, and I'll see you next week. And don't forget, if you've got any ideas for sort of treasure hunts or competitions that we can run for some of the families in Wyke over the summer period, and you'd like to get involved with that, or you've got some ideas, do let me know. And if you want to get involved in the little singing project and the musical instrument project to get one of those virtual choirs or virtual groups together over the summer as well, again, do give us an email, and we'll be pleased for you all to get involved with that as well. So I'll say good night to you all, and I'll see you next week at the same time, 7:30. Thanks for coming along, and see you soon.